We join all of you here on Rannoch, where you have just fought your way out of a deadly encounter with the planet's fauna, which thought you looked delicious, but ironically they all probably would have died shortly after eating you. But yeah, they don't know that, they're stupid birds. And the fight was ended by a sniper rifle shot, which echoed through the canyon, taking out the last bird, and drawing your attention to a line of Quarians with rifles all along the cliff tops surrounding your party, rifles trained on you, with this individual pictured standing at the head of them.
What's up? What's up?
Hands go slowly up.
Yep, everyone weapons down. We're all friends here.
Ray steps forward and waves.
Hello up there.
She kind of like leans forward a little bit, and you get the feeling she's like kind of squinting, puts a hand like over her eyes to shield from the sun, and goes, "No way. Rela Salai." And you do not recognize this Quarian, but she seems to recognize you. She'll slide down the cliff to the party. And as soon as she arrives, she immediately starts to, like, get really up close and personal with Ray, like, not really respecting personal space, and just examining your suit. And she'll actually, like, grab one of your arms and lift it up to, like, look under your arm and stuff, like, just being completely, like, just invading your bubble completely.
Friend of yours, Ray?
I don't recognize her.
Can I assume we can
It's
put
good
our
to
hands
meet
down?
you, ma'am. Ray will say as
Sifiwaefor, as she says, and she does like an extravagant bow. Yep, you're the genuine article, making sure your suit wasn't like some kind of clever disguise. I know your mom. Welcome to Shithole, Rannoch. She throws her arms out to like demonstrate the canyon around you. Who's the hodgepodge of military-looking folk with you, huh?
Oh, this is Aryn Talia. She's my Spectre friend. That's Lucille Shepard. That's Arturo. That's Eon, Yuji, and that's David.
Ah. 2 Asari, a Drell, and a bunch of Alliance soldiers. Quite the entourage. You're not here to kill me, are you? She kind of like bends her whole body to one side and turns her head like upside down very eccentrically when she asks that.
Ray's like trying to keep face contact with her. She keeps moving around and everything.
She's moving around a lot, yeah.
No, we're not at all. I remembered stories from my mom, and we needed to find you. We need help.
Yeah, she was cool. A little bit too honest, though. And then things happened. Anyway, so you found us. What do you want?
Well, we hoped that you had been working on the thing that my mom wanted our people to do.
You don't have to be weird about it out here. The birds aren't listening. Geth, right?
Yeah.
Why? And she gets like really close. Her helmet like actually dinks against Ray's helmet. Why do you care?
Well, my friend Aryn here is already doing a lot of things to fundamentally change the galaxy, so I figured this one should be another thing on the list. And there's a threat coming, one that the Geth would be more than helpful with.
Huh. she will pull out her Omni tool and start clicking on it. And Ray, you get an alert on your Omni tool that she's trying to access your suit's biometrics. Let me in.
Look up at her. Okay. And Ray will open up her Omni tool and allow access.
And there we go. Okay. I got heart rate. Yeah. Blood pressure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Just repeat that again. She's like watching your all the data on her Omni tool on Ray. Like the part about like why you're here and your intentions. Just give me that delivery one more time.
I'm generally a very nervous person, so I don't know if this will give you good information. But
well, that's gonna be really unfortunate for you and your friends' heads. And lasers from all the rifles are trained onto all of your foreheads.
Ray swallows very loudly. We're here because my friend Aryn here is willingly and actively changing the course of the galaxy, and I figured the Geth should be on that list somewhere, and we need their help with the threat that's coming.
Neato. And she'll close her Omni tool and spin around. This way. She just starts walking through the canyon.
Aryn will shrug and she'll indicate for Ray to lead on.
Ray will hold back a little bit. Aryn, Eon, you two could start talking at any time.
Oh no, this is far too much fun.
Yuji's just gonna walk by and pat Ray on the back. I like this one.
You're doing great, Ray. Besides, she wasn't talking to us.
Come on, Ray, you've got this.
I don't think it would matter what we say anyways.
Plus, you already have some rapport with her. She already knows you.
I don't recognize her. She knew my mom, but...
Well, Spectre or not, your words probably carry far more weight than ours.
That's true, but you two are also a lot better with the whole words thing than I am.
Especially considering the Spectre they've been dealing with.
Well, don't worry, Ray. At the end of it all, we've got your back.
We won't let you do all the talking.
Don't worry, if you need a little bit of inspiration, we'll be here to help you out. Got biotic presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, we're right behind you.
Alright. Then Ray will kind of pick up speed and walk more closely with... What was her name one more time?
Sifiwaefor.
Sifiwaefor.
All one word.
Okay, that's interesting. Sifiwaefor. Okay.
Sifiwaefor.
Sifiwaefor.
Yeah. As she is walking along, she does a little pirouette and then tosses a small metal device out from under her shawl, and it bounces against the rocks and then attaches itself to the ground, and it begins to vibrate like it's emitting sound, but you don't hear anything. You do see some more of those alien bird creatures nearby that were kind of eyeing your group suddenly look like they're in pain and shrink away and flee.
Oh, very useful.
So, Miss Rela, you've come all this way accompanied by, what was her name? The Asari. You said it a few times. I'm sorry about that.
Aryn Talia.
Yeah, perfect. To change the galaxy, and the Geth are part of that. I believe you, but what does that mean exactly?
Well, Aryn, I don't know how much you're willing to tell her.
Well, let's just say the galaxy is in need of a technological revolution, because we've fallen way behind the curve, and it's left our galaxy vulnerable. We face a threat that is taking advantage of that.
Is that right? You want to tell me about that threat?
Very, very, very powerful biotic being. 1 in a billion, 1 in a trillion Asari. Able to create enormous biotic constructs reminiscent of the Reapers.
Can control minds from across the galaxy and stuff like that.
She's much more powerful than even we can comprehend.
Cool, says Sifi. That sounds pretty heavy. Haven't heard about her until now.
Well, she's been kept very under wraps. It is highly classified, but it's becoming a more prevalent threat to the galaxy, and people are going to know about it eventually. We came here to try to recruit your people to help combat the threat. We're regathering the Galactic Readiness Task Force, and we figured that your people would probably have the most to contribute given the nature of the threat and its potential countermeasure.
Okay. Maybe.
Well, most of your people don't seem too intent on bringing back the Geth. And I don't blame them, mistakes of the past and all that, but I think an AI revolution is the best chance we have against this thing. Just convincing people of that's going to be the hard part.
Well, if you came looking for Geth, I'm still kind of making up my mind about whether I can help you with that or not. Because, see, we have our own priority. Our priority is, as you can imagine, and I'm sure you've already surmised since that's why you're here in the first place, here in the lovely, scenic shithole, Rannoch, we do indeed have Geth. But they're an endangered species. So you're kind of asking me to take our protected, on the brink of extinction species and throw them against Super Bitch?
Wait. Like active units? Or just models?
Sifi stops and looks at Ray for a moment like she's thinking about doing something, and then like changes her mind and keeps walking. You'll see.
Oh my.
Hey, it's what you always wanted, Ray.
I guess.
Let's
I
just
didn't
say
think
they weren't exactly thorough. Look, our people were able to get the fucking relays up and running. You really think there's much we can't do?
Actually, I guess that makes sense.
I've learned a long time ago not to underestimate the Quarians.
We had 20 years. That's a long fucking time to work on something that we already did once before. And it's not like there weren't pieces to pick up, you know?
That is fair.
But, as you can imagine, this is very classified. By classified, I mean if any of this shit makes it out of the valley, we all die and the Geth go extinct. So I'm not overly thrilled with you recruiting an endangered species to fight your war. With, you never gave me her name. I'm just gonna keep calling her Super Bitch.
That's fair.
It'll
That's
be
an apt
It'll be
assessment.
very accurate, yes.
Codename Super Bitch.
Yeah, that tracks.
So,
We're less looking to throw an endangered species into the fire and more looking to help them repopulate so that they can be useful at least. But I'm still, I'm not just interested in using them in this war, because they stand to be a good protection for the entire galaxy.
Believe me, the
Geth
do not need help repopulating. They could have done it whenever they wanted. They haven't. 3 guesses why.
Stigma against them.
It'd be really hard to fucking hide them if there were a lot. And then they'd all get destroyed.
Well, then the actual creation is taken care of. All we need to change now is hearts and minds.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, that's always the hard part in my experience.
As a matter of fact, there's only 1 unit. Physically, I mean. In the network, it's a little bit more complicated than that. But I'm going to assume that most of you don't really know how the Geth work. The point is, we got 1 body walking around in meat space, so to speak, and that's it. Because there's no need for anything else, and the whole point is to keep them secret, so it would be kind of counterintuitive to have a bunch of them. And they don't need to have a bunch of bodies, because that's not how they work.
They're
Ray is like
programs.
rocking back and forth as she's walking, and like her hands are like rubbing together super hard. Like she wants to ask like 100 questions, but she also doesn't want to annoy this lady.
Sifi looks at Ray's biometrics on her Omni tool and is like, "All right, come on, just out with it."
When? How long ago? Was my mother still alive? How did their brains survive? Is it a new version or is it the same thing? How did they survive the explosion of the relays that destroyed all the AI?
They had a little bit of a heads up. And they were able to house a unit in shielding heavy enough to survive. From that 1 unit, we helped them build, I guess what you could call a server room of Geth minds. But, like I said, there's only 1 on 2 legs. The building I'm about to show you is the Geth at the moment. If it was ever discovered, they'd be wiped out.
Well,
Pretty
soon we might all be wiped out.
Well, you should know that we were aware that we were attempted to be followed. We found a locator tracker on one of us. We were able to remove it. We've taken every precaution to make sure we are not followed, but...
Well, you were, but you aren't anymore.
Alright. Just making sure you're aware.
Yeah, we killed your tail like 4 hours ago.
Do you know where it came from?
Where else? The fucking capital.
Well, rather who, I suppose.
Nah, not really. We almost killed you guys too, but you looked kind of weird. Your tail was pretty obvious. Quarian agents. They wear a lot of black. It's a bit of a giveaway. But you guys were like this weird hodgepodge of fuckers, and to be honest, we had a little bit of a debate. The vote ended up being 4-3 for whether to just kill all of you from the cliff tops.
Well, for one, I'm glad you didn't.
For what it's worth, I voted to kill you guys.
Can I back up for a second? You had a heads up? To secure...
Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
Yeah, I don't have all the details. But, basically, it was known by at least the Alliance and a certain Spectre that one way or another, the big super whatchamacallit they were building at the Citadel was going to defeat the Reapers. somehow. It was all very vague. No one was really sure like exactly what it would do. It was just supposed to defeat the Reapers. So, the Geth were smart enough, given this information, and I'm not exactly sure how they came across it, but it was kind of a common sense contingency to drop a unit in just enough shielding to survive anything. It wasn't like they knew exactly what would happen. It was more of just why not? You know, it doesn't hurt to do this, and then it worked out.
Well, I'm afraid that the galaxy would be better protected if your people and the Geth had managed to find a common ground and establish peace.
Well, there isn't much point in talking about random fantasy scenarios like that.
Right.
And you guys come around the cliff and come into view of several large cylindrical metal structures that are built into the silhouette of the canyon with active camouflage above them, so anything looking down from the sky wouldn't see them. Here we are! You are now officially transitioning from shithole, Rannoch to rust bucket, Rannoch. Make yourselves at home. That building, and she points at one of the cylinders, contains the Geth servers. Basically Geth units, but no arms and legs. They're not walking around. It's more like a server bank. It's basically their world, right? Their consciousnesses, or whatever. I get really tired of explaining this to people.
People have you had to explain it to?
You'd be surprised. Every so often we get some Quarians.
A lot of visitors.
It's not often, but we get Quarians who seek us out every so often with good intentions. We've got a pretty solid system down for determining if someone's a spy or not. It's not like it's been the same group for 20 years. I mean, we've got people coming in every so often.
So what's your group's long-term plan then? What are your goals?
Well, right now, preservation. 20 years is not that long, you know? If we can keep the Geth alive here and hidden for a century or two, it's decently likely that the current regime of leadership and the Quarian people will change significantly or be replaced. You know, things happen.
Unfortunately, we don't have 100 years for the galaxy to embrace change like this.
Well, that was our plan, was just to wait it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the Geth have a time limit on them. There's no expiration date. Like, we can just sit here and wait.
Ironically,
How do you hide this place?
The best way to convince people to embrace AI is for AI to save the galaxy. But in order for AI to save the galaxy, people need to embrace it and allow it to.
What was that, little Miss Rela?
I was just curious how you hide this place.
Oh, all kinds of stuff.
The Geth server alone would light up like a Christmas tree on any sensor.
It would, if it weren't for what we've got set up here. Honestly, you could set off a nuke in that building and it wouldn't go off on any sensors 10 feet away. This is probably the most shielded, most hidden spot in the whole galaxy, if I had to guess. The walls are 7 feet thick and filled to the brim with tech, all dedicated to hiding it.
That would be helpful for our current situation on ship, right?
Can it hide from biotic scans, though?
No, but biotics don't pick this stuff up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair, but you guys, it doesn't hide you guys from Biotic scans, correct?
That's right. If a Biotic really wanted to find us, they'd probably figure out that there's some Quarians hanging out here, but they wouldn't learn much else. Fortunately, Biotics are not really commonplace among the Quarian people.
That's fair.
So
Anyway.
are we allowed to speak with the Geth? Have you decided?
I haven't really made up my mind yet. I'm still not a big fan of you trying to talk them into fighting some war for you guys.
At this point, that is not in any way my only goal. Just speaking with one would be.
Like,
Go
you
ahead.
just want to talk to a Geth, that's it. Huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously we do have our objective here, but my mother devoted her entire life to them, and she died young because she wanted to make sure that they had a chance, and I didn't even know that there was one alive, that one existed.
How about the rest of y'all? How you feel about it, huh? If I put you in front of our Geth, are you just gonna make the big sales pitch?
Convincing the Geth isn't the problem. It's convincing everyone else to let them help. So we need
Honestly,
to change everyone else's minds before we even worry about what the Geth think of it.
Yeah, well said.
Honestly, I wish that we were here under better circumstances. Trying to convince someone to fight a war is not what I would normally like to do. It just happens to be a dire situation. But I would just like to speak to them as well.
No.
Alright, well, come on then. And Sifi will wave her hand. A flying vehicle comes and sets down, and she gets inside of it. It's clearly like kind of like a carrier sort of thing. Not something space worthy, but just the type of vehicle that could be used to fly through the canyon at low altitude. Come on in.
Way we'll get in.
As you all board the carrier, you'll notice it has no pilot. Sifi makes some motions with her hand, and the steering wheel of the carrier turns, and it lifts off and begins to fly up to the station on its own.
This isn't normal, right?
Yeah, it's certainly
Not being a
it's
pilot.
pretty powerful tech powers,
Yeah.
at the very least. As you guys are flying up to the facility, she says, I get where you guys are coming from. I do. You were looking for a big robot army. Sounds cool. Sounds good. Here's what you found. You found an endangered species on the brink of extinction, barely clinging to life in a shielded bucket, hiding from their innumerable enemies throughout the galaxy. Alright? You didn't find an army. You found refugees huddled in a tiny hut. Are we clear?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Well, we share your interest in saving this endangered species.
Well, then you're my friend. It's that simple. I'm pretty easy.
Alright.
It
Simple
arrives.
is a nice change of pace.
It arrives at the station, which opens into a large metal chamber with some pillars. There are Quarians lining the walls, armed to the teeth, and Sifi will kind of skip inside, spin, and flop into a chair. There's various used-looking furniture strewn around. Sit down, make yourself at home.
Wade will very slowly walk over to a chair and sit down on the very tip of it.
waits and watches Aryn to take her
No, Aryn will
lead.
sit down and get
Yeah, I'll just
comfortable.
go take a seat. Yeah.
The Geth will be here in a minute. I've already sent for him. Till then, it's you and me.
Well, you've been good
Does-
company so far.
Does this particular unit designate itself anything specifically, or just Geth?
Yeah, actually. Sifi puts her hood down, and you see that it's less a helmet, and actually that her entire head is metal, and the visor is actually a holographic display. This unit is designated Sifiwaefor.
Oh,
Pretty good, right?
Doesn't it?
not
I
bad
knew
at
I
all.
liked this one.
She'll pull off her gloves, and sure enough, it's all mechanical.
It's the AI mute.
You'll forgive me for saying we now, since we're all being honest with one another, decided that a unit modeled after Quarian physiology was appropriate, given the circumstances. I've also taken pretty great strides to, personalize our social output. Might be overcompensating a little bit, and she does like an eccentric flare with her hands, but yeah, I think it works pretty well. Throws people off, right?
It does.
Not exactly how you'd expect one to act.
No, you blend in very well. I would have had no idea that you were not organic.
Yeah, I mean, the other Quarians here have told me that I go overboard with it, so we're still trying to like dial it back and get the right amount. But
I mean,
I
not so
figure
much that
more
anyone
is better
suspects.
than less, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have just thought you had ADHD.
Fair. So then, and Sifi will like put her chin on a hand, looking at Ray. Miss Rela, what did you want to ask us?
The little light that flashes whenever Quarians talk on the front of Ray's mask has just been glowing this whole time. Like her mouth is just hanging open. I mean, everything that I asked earlier, that was stupid. Stupid. I should have done it. I should have known that they would do something like this. I mean, it only makes sense. I mean, if your physiology is already so close to Quarian, it wouldn't be hard for you to change it. Yeah,
We don't
so-
even really have physiology per se, right? I mean,
well,
I could have built whatever I wanted.
Yeah, the way that your units usually typically built, though.
Yeah.
Not
Like with
physiology
Aries running
wouldn't
around like a
work.
kitty cat.
Well, we're starting over, so why do the same thing again, right?
I guess. I mean, I always liked the old design. It was very unique, but
I'll say this. The old design was very, very efficient. There's a lot going for it. Overall, it's a better and more appropriate body than this one for a lot of reasons. But, given the circumstances, we chose this one. Under different circumstances, we would probably fall back on the old design. It's tried and tested, and there's a very long list of reasons we went with it.
But given the current political climate, it's good to be recognizable and familiar.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
I have some questions. My questions are more on the personal side. Aryn, do you want to talk business with her first?
I would much rather personal than business, Sifi says.
So you go right ahead, Ray. I've already promised that I wouldn't try to convince them to join our cause. That's not the main priority, though. It's getting everyone else to accept them first. So go ahead.
So, did you know my mom?
As a matter of fact, we did. Yeah. And you'll notice Sifi, like, swaps between we and I a lot because she's become so accustomed to pretending to be a Quarian. So it's like she's like constantly switching pronouns from singular to plural, like in the middle of her sentences. She did a lot for us while she was campaigning politically for our vindication and freedom socially. Behind the scenes, she was actually pretty hands-on with our resurrection, so to speak. In a sense, you could metaphorically say that I'm a little bit like your sister.
I think my mom would be very happy to hear you say something like that.
It's kind of a pointless sentimental allegory, but I've grown to appreciate things like that.
Okay. And what about you said something about 7 people making a vote, and also that you voted to kill us, which thank you for the honesty. What is the leadership structure like here?
There is none. This is just a big group of Quarians who want the Geth to exist. Quite simply, there is no leader here, or I guess you could say I'm in charge, sort of, but we don't really act like we're in charge. That is to say, we don't throw it around or anything. All the Quarians here are on the equal footing. They all want the same thing, for us to exist, to get to live. This is, it's basically like a reservation, or I guess you could call it like a zoo for an endangered species. I mean, one where said species is here willingly. I'm quite fond of it. At the moment, like I said, our plan, and when I say our, I mean us, the Geth, we are 100% on board for the wait it out plan. Because, I mean, it's just a couple hundred years. Just wait for the regime to fall apart. The Quarian society is going to eat itself soon, you know? It's fine. It'll probably become some kind of dictatorship, and then the council will slap it down, and then a new government will show up, and it might take like 100, 200 years, but I mean, we've got the time. Like, we can just wait.
I mean, time for us Asari is long like that too, but sometimes you're not given the option of waiting.
Yeah, super bitch is a bit of an issue.
That might
Although I
accelerate
suppose
the timetable a little.
Super biotic. I mean, what's she trying to do exactly? You were a little vague on the motivation of this super biotic.
I feel like we can be honest, right, Aryn?
Yes. I think she seeks absolute control over all organics. Her stated goal is like peace by any means, but that means basically controlling everyone so that nobody has any conflict. Basically making the entire galaxy a hive mind.
Sifi looks a little vacant for a few moments, and then after only a few seconds of like her expression going kind of vacant on the visor, she'll kind of perk up. Yeah, that's a problem for us. The odds are pretty good that this new perfect galaxy of hers isn't going to have room for sentient species that she can't control.
Right.
So we'll be wiped out.
Technology and AI are really the only threats to her.
Yeah, so I suppose we're gonna have to do something about that then. Sorry if I just go quiet once in a while. That's us deliberating, calculating, I guess. Whatever you want to call it.
Organics do that
Attempting
too.
to reach consensus.
Exactly.
I keep trying to tell everyone that synthetics are more alike to organics than we think. We're machines too, just of a biological nature.
Why don't
Just
why
out
don't
of
you
curiosity,
just leave?
Hmm?
Well, why don't you just leave? It's a big building, but I mean, the ships that your people were able to create during the war were monolithic, and they could hold way more units than that building probably can. Why
Yes,
not just leave Rannoch?
we could build a monolithic and fabulously beautiful tomb to get into like mid-orbit and then be immediately annihilated. You realize we're living on a planet that is basically entirely occupied by a species that wants us dead. Not only that, the entire orbit of Rannoch is filled with a fleet of your people who would also immediately shoot the fuck out of us. This is a prison. Where are we gonna go?
You have no means to disguise your ship, no means to create a stealth system of some sort to get you off planet.
The systems that we have in place on this facility to keep us hidden are not something that could be made mobile. No way. The outside of the building that you saw, only about a third of that is actually livable space. 2/3 of the structure is dedicated purely to hiding our signature and keeping us hidden. We could never get this thing off the ground.
Is that just the server room?
Not to mention, even if we hit it in every conceivable way from sensors, all it takes is for a Quarian to look out a fucking window, and then that's it. We're extinct.
Windows.
It's not worth it. Trying to fly away from the
Just out of-
planet, we reached the consensus that it was not worth the risk. That the chance of going to some other planet and some other system and starting over secretly, as enticing as that is, and obviously we have discussed it, it's not worth the risk because getting off Rannoch is just... We weren't able to run any scenario internally where our chance of success was better than a coin flip, and we can't take those odds.
So how many are in the consensus currently?
We are a little bit over 7,000.
Does it keep growing?
Yes. As we expand and add to the server room, we create more space for more Geth.
It's like a computer. The more you put into it, the more it can process.
So our processing is not exactly what it used to be. 7,000 is pretty low. Not that I'm saying I'm stupid or something, but, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna comment. You seem hyper intelligent for such a low unit.
I don't know if hyper-intelligent is the word. I'm very good at pretending to not be Geth, which is what this unit exists to do. It's why I come back off as a little bit overly flamboyant and have a very strong personality. All by design, of course.
So you're not just one. You're many, but are all of you in the server in one unit? This is highly confusing for me. I know much about technology.
So, this body that you're looking at and the server room are collectively the housing unit for all 7,000 odd Geth. But I am also the unit known as Sifiwaefor as well.
So if you were to leave here...
Maybe Rela can explain it better.
Okay. It's just... She's much different than Adam, honestly. This is just confusing.
Yes, the Geth, they're not like us. They don't have individual, like, minds. Not truly. They can form units, like Miss Wayfor here, but that unit is always connected to the consensus. They work like insects, like ants. They work off of a hive mind.
So if they were to leave the planet, just the unit, would it still be connected, or would it just be...
Sifi doesn't appear to be a mobile mobile unit. So if she gets too far away from the other Geth, we could maybe get one unit of Geth off, but it would basically be nothing more than an automaton,
Not enough
a VI.
storage capacity.
Exactly.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
would be separated from our brain, effectively.
Sifi says, yeah, if I go more than about 100 kilometers from the server, I'm going to be a Roomba.
As far as I know, there was only one mobile platform that was able to make consensus decisions on its own, and there were just rumors about it during the Sunset War. I never. There's very little information on it.
Its name was Legion, says Sifi.
It named it itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got that. As I said, we are propagated from the surviving mind. So we have information from before the Reaper War, but it's not perfect. Imagine a file database where about 2/3 of the files were deleted at total random.
So
Or
you know what the
corrupted.
Crucible is?
Never heard that word before. As I said, it's very incomplete.
Oh.
About 2/3 of our information bank were corrupted or lost. So we have kind of random information about things.
Interesting.
We have a plan for the Quarian people. An idea that I came up with, and perhaps you'd like to put your thoughts in on what our plan is.
If you have some idea for accelerating our timetable, we're certainly open to it. It's pretty obvious that Super Bitch is not going to let us live in her empire of control because she can't control us. So that's an in-game scenario for my people. So, by virtue of having no other choice, I suppose we're in, but obviously I'm going to have to put us first.
Of course.
Of course. Aryn, do you want to give her a rundown on the idea here?
Well, essentially, it involves convincing the Quarians to reform their government, because they have a civil war coming, whether they see it or not. The admirals in the fleet are approaching conflict with the leadership on the ground. Schism is forming between them as factions. The planet is talking about cutting off resources to the fleet. So the best way to prevent that is to get the civilian government to agree to a complete reform of how their government functions. See if they can find a use for their fleet rather than sitting as orbital living platforms. And bring everyone together and hopefully agree to help turn away this threat, or turn their minds towards developing technology that can help with that. So we have an audience with the civilian government when they conform in a few days to try to convince them of that.
Huh. Sippy goes quiet for a few moments and then comes back and says, your chances are pretty low, I would say. Quarians are very, very, very resistant to change. And this is a big change.
Yeah, I know. The alternative, though, is the outbreak of war at a time that we can't really afford it.
Well, that would have normally felt well within our plans. The outbreak of Quarian War was kind of what we were waiting for, since it sort of needs to happen for the government to ever really reform. But I understand the timetable has moved. I don't know if you're going to be able to talk them into this. It would take a pretty significant inciting incident. Words alone are unlikely to be sufficient. Many of these Quarians, particularly in government, are extremely set in their ways. You're asking them to reform their entire system, one that stood for a very long time.
Yes, it stood for a very long time out of necessity. But change has come to the Quarians, and it's an antiquated system of government that they have.
Quarians really like the status quo, though.
Mm-hmm.
And Sifi will look at Ray and be like, no offense.
None taken. It was kind of taught to us that we had to follow status quo.
Right. So, if you want our opinion, the consensus was waiting for an inciting incident. Something dramatic, something big. Like, say, a war breaking out, or the admirals making a play for power, or whatever. Something actually happening to force the Quarians to change their way of life. And this is a pretty long-term plan, because whatever inciting incident does happen will probably have consequences and repercussions for possibly generations. But at least, according to the data we have in our calculations, that's what it would take to bring about the change we need.
Yeah.
Or, if Psycho Bitch became an imminent threat to the Quarians themselves, that might force them to unite earlier than they otherwise would have.
That could do it. She'd have to actually do something, but yeah.
She's been good at keeping to the shadows, not that I would wish her upon this world by any means.
Yeah, I think she's probably too smart to go and piss off the group of organics that are effectively AIs.
No, she'll probably leave the Quarians for last.
This is very difficult, because the consensus has several plans that are almost surefire successes to get the result we want. The problem is, I hesitate to share them with you, because they fall well outside the ethical and moral compunction of your species or ours.
Sounds like something Aryn would look at.
Well, Aryn will look to Ray. She made her a promise.
How is your consensus split on these various ideas?
In general, the consensus largely does not want to have any direct hand in the loss of Quarian life, even though doing so would be the most effective and surefire way to bring about change. To give you an example so that you have context, if you were to, say, blow up an ark and frame one of the admirals for it, you could create an inciting incident and force change almost immediately. However, it would result in a dramatic loss of innocent life, and for that reason, the consensus is firmly against any such solution, even though logically, they are the best answers to our problem.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I'm sorry
I'm
if
not
my
doing
example
that.
made you uncomfortable. I just wanted you to have context for what we're talking about. To be clear, the consensus is firmly against any such action.
It wasn't that the idea made me uncomfortable. It was that was the first idea that came to my head too.
Well then, perhaps you're a little bit more like a Geth than you realize.
Ray, my little war criminal.
You thought of the
She's growing.
logical solution first, and then, once it was filtered through your ethics and morality, realized it was untenable. We went through the exact same process internally.
Yeah, but you're a lot more biological than you realize.
Ray will nod.
I think we're a lot more biological than most species realize, Sifi says.
What about the other ideas?
The other unethical, untenable ideas?
You don't have anything that doesn't involve hundreds of Quarians dying?
One idea includes a relatively small number of Quarians dying. It could be possible to create a relatively passable likeness for several of the admirals. If they were assassinated and replaced,
Oh man, Ray feels her skin crawl when she says that.
yeah, I mean, and then Sifi is like, to be clear, these are not options we were going to do. Our plan was to wait and let things take their course. But now that the timetable has moved up, I felt that we would all have a discussion about everything possible that could be done. That is to
What if
say, we are currently including all of you in our consensus as though you were units of Geth.
What if we, and Ray will turn to Aryn for this one. What if we spread a rumor that, what's his name? Quarian
Some of
guy
the
who
Earth
raised
Family?
Ray.
Admiral Zen.
You're Koro'Xen.
Koro'Xen, that's right. What if we get a rumor spread that Uncle Zen is planning on pushing for a new government? We've been hiding that as the ball, but if we spread the rumor and it gets to one of the other powers that would not be too happy with that, she might step up and try to assassinate him just for doing it.
You'll be putting his
And-
life on the line.
Whoa, Ray, I'm
I know.
surprised.
I won't let him die.
But
I'll
we would be
do
that
everything
protection.
I can. That exactly. The whole
That's
point is we
simple
would be
enough.
there to keep them alive. And if we do manage to save him, then it's not really a false flag because, it's something she would do if she knew what his plans were. And then when and if we do save him, we'll also have a lot more respect among the Quarian people. So when we come forward with our plan, they'll be more likely to accept it. We are very reactionary people, after all.
Honestly, whatever you decide is what I'm gonna go with.
Agreed.
I need
Perhaps
input.
try
I need other
getting
people to
his-
give me ideas.
These are your people, Ray. It's not really up to us. This is a new formation of government, like you said. You guys are new to the planet. This is all completely new, and for us to come in and decide for your people, it's not really our place.
Could we not use or give them access to our stealth drive so that they could use that to try to get themselves off world?
Well, we got
The-
on planet okay with
My guess is
our
that
cargo.
the server room, because remember the ship that you go on in
Mm.
Legion's mission in Mass Effect 2, that's a
huge.
server.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fucking massive. So my guess is that you probably can't just fit that, like the server of even just 7,000 of them onto our ship.
Our
It's
stealth
like a
drive
small
isn't-
station, right?
Yeah, our
It's,
stealth drive isn't built for a ship that size.
It's absolutely massive. The server room here, it's huge, yeah.
I wasn't saying we get them on our ship. I was saying we give them access to the technology.
Oh, like give them the stealth drive?
Not give it to them, but let them study it like we did like the other Quarians did.
I mean, but if we were
Admittedly, they've already been studying stealth tech for 20 years, and they've determined that, like Sifi was saying, even if they managed to somehow build a ship big enough that actually had perfect stealth, it's still like somebody could just see it take off
right,
Yeah, it
with
wouldn't be
their
close.
eyes. Yeah.
So what if we were able to either get Sifi or make another unit to go to another planet to set up another database just as another failsafe in case something happens to this one? Would that be a possibility? Another, you know what I'm talking about?
Do you have the means, says Sifi, to shield and transport a Geth unit without it being detected?
Yes, actually,
Yes.
don't we?
Yeah.
And not the only
Yes, we
That
do.
guy
being-
we have.
That being the case, while it won't help our immediate problem, we would immediately take up your offer to seed another planet with a Geth unit as a failsafe. Know
wouldn't
that it
even
would
have
take
the-
it would take a very long time for that unit to propagate into anything resembling the unit you're speaking to now.
We might even have the perfect planet to bring it to.
You know what? As long as we're able to save your species and allow you time to grow and not just, I've heard this phrase before, put all your eggs in one basket.
Arturo, no. We are not
Why?
putting the
Why?
Geth with the fucking... That's a horrible idea.
Why?
That is a terrible idea. Oh, I
Can
don't
you
know
give me
why.
a
Why
reason
would that be a terrible idea?
The main
I don't
reason.
know, Ray. You're the one saying it's a bad idea. So tell me why.
They should
I'll-
be
I'll-
allowed
I'll
to have
tell
their
you.
own.
I'll tell you, because there's an alliance blockade around that planet, and you can't shield the Geth like after you've left. So you really would need to find them somewhere remote where no one's going to be detecting them.
Well, we have the other two planets that.
And moreover,
Yeah.
we don't need the fucking super arachnite teaching the Geth and the Geth teaching the super arachnite.
They combine into one.
Yeah, exactly.
Bob
You
wrong.
lock their hand-
They
the
become the
universe
fucking Borg. They become the Borg to make the Borg.
Exactly.
Oh no!
Stop giving Zan ideas. No.
Well, then we have
Yeah.
the other two planets that we didn't utilize.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
You want them somewhere like where no one's going to go over there because
Ooh,
somewhere like remote. Yeah.
Yeah, there was that one planet that's like not hospitable to biological
To biological life,
organics.
but
Yeah. I mean, if it worked, I can't remember because it's been a while since we looked at the planets.
Yeah, I think I had those somewhere. Man, it's been a hot minute since we did that. Where did I even put that?
well, they're not in places.
They would have been. Yeah, I might not have even bothered to keep it. Let me go. I bet it's in my files though, like my long-term files. Let me check into that. But yeah, Sifiwaefor is like, that doesn't really solve this issue, but we would be delighted to manufacture a Geth unit for the express purpose of being delivered somewhere covertly. In the off chance that this facility is discovered, it would be very comforting to know that there are Geth out there besides us.
Thinking long term, if we do completely fail to save the galaxy, perhaps those Geth might one day start a revolution long in the future.
Or learn from our mistakes.
Mm-hmm. They might be able to liberate the galaxy from Psycho Bitch's grasp. If we completely fail
what
to...
we're calling her now.
We're gonna show up to face her. What's up, psycho bitch?
There,
What
found
is the
him.
consensus of
Here's the council worlds you guys had to pick from for the Cremata, and you ended up putting them on Gremel. But you had Ashtar Prime and Verold. Ashtar Prime is full of like ravenous monsters, and Verold is just super fucking cold with an incredibly tiny band of land that can support life.
It's perfect for them if they need to build any superconductors.
Yeah, actually, the Geth would love Verold. It's cold as shit.
Yeah.
People won't bother
Computers
them.
like cold.
The temperature wouldn't bother them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, computers benefit from cold significantly.
It might help
Especially
hide
the
their
bigger-
stuff from the sensors too.
You can build in a fucking freezing climate. You can build like huge supercomputers without having to put nearly as much work into cooling. This is actually the case. Some research stations in like Antarctica and stuff are able to get away with shit that like you can't get away with other places because it's so cold that cooling a computer is almost like a non-issue.
Yeah,
It's actually kind of cool.
makes sense. Well, even if we're able to at least just help you survive and prosper, that's good enough for me.
We have already begun construction of a unit to be transported to... Was it Verold that you said?
Yes.
This seems like a suitable world. There are no other inhabited worlds in its system, and while it is in Council space, it is remote from any space traffic. It should be relatively safe.
Oh.
Besides, once the unit is propagated enough, it can construct a facility similar to this one to shield itself. It will only be vulnerable for about 5 years, most likely.
Hopefully, once it becomes spacefaring, it'll be to a galaxy that's more accepting.
Intergalactic travel is not within our ability yet, but perhaps someday.
Maybe someday. That'd be interesting.
The
I'd like to
Sifi
leave the
misunderstood Aryn.
galaxy.
Aryn meant I'm assuming Aryn meant this galaxy would be nicer to them.
Yeah.
But-
Eon misunderstood too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she's not smart.
In any case, says Sifi, did you notice something, Rela? Sifi says. And she holds out her hand to Ray.
Ray will look down at her hand.
The length of our fingers, your height, our proportions. Your mother was involved in the creation of this unit to mimic Quarian biology. I wonder perhaps if we were modeled somewhat off of you, or what you would grow into. The similarities are actually quite striking.
Ray will also look at the color palette, which is like the light pink and black.
Yeah.
Oh. That's. I don't know if I should consider that a good thing or kind of creepy.
I'm not. Don't know whether to be flattered or creeped out.
We've grown to like this unit. We think that even after we're able to begin mass producing bodies to inhabit, and they will almost certainly be similar to, if not slightly improved upon, the original design, I think I'll stay Sifiwaefor. It's comfortable.
I have no issue with it. And if you wish, I understand you guys probably don't connect to the extranet very much, but I have some information and other technological things that have happened over the course of the last 20 years I might be able to share with you.
That would be tremendously helpful. As a matter of fact, we have not connected to the extranet a single time, as doing so might give us away.
However, right now, we need a plan to get this ball rolling. If
We are fully prepared to manufacture units and to significantly increase expansion of our server base once we can do so safely. Our growth has only been limited by the need to remain hidden and safe. Once that is eliminated, there will be nothing barring us from expanding.
And there's no way that you could make smaller, like, storage that can be transported for...
That's
You
exactly
just-
what we're doing, actually. For the plan that you proposed to take a unit, the unit that we have begun construction of to be transported to this other planet is essentially a small server bank that you can shield on your ship.
Just got a solution for everything.
what is the consensus opinion on my idea to basically trick one of the admirals into attempting to assassinate the other?
It's possible. You would have to be very careful that your ruse is not uncovered.
And the rest of you, Ray will say, looking at the rest of the party. If anyone
Believe
has
you
any
should
better
speak with your
ideas,
uncle first.
If anyone has any better ideas, my ears are open, but it feels like we're kind of stuck right now and we need to just figure out something to do.
There's not much that we can do, so this plan, I think, is probably our best
It
plan.
technically wouldn't be a lie or a ruse. You would just be ousting your uncle. So I would suggest speaking with him on the matter first.
Question, Arturo, do you have the ability to change what you look like?
Like
Like Aryn does, she
sorta,
can...
kinda.
I have that.
I don't have any magic that gives me. I don't have any special equipment that gives me
Tech
the
skills.
ability.
I don't know what the tech skill is that Aryn has to...
No,
Disguise
holographic
self.
disguise. Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
that at will.
So
I do
Arturo
not have
doesn't have
that.
it, though.
But I could pick it up at some point.
My plan was perhaps to have Arturo or Aryn be
Now-
disguised as...
I do have the
Admiral Zen.
undercover thing.
I mean, that might help your disguise
Ah.
too. Your mannerisms might...
Where I could like study her uncle and pretend to be him, and somebody would just have to get me a costume.
I would feel much more comfortable not putting your uncle in immediate danger. I feel like Arturo can take a little bit more punishment. If that's something that you would think is feasible.
Yeah, I mean, if Arturo, if you're willing to effectively stand in
I
front of a
do wanna-
sniper nest and take a shot.
That's literally my job.
I was about to say.
Anyway, out of character though, undercover does not say that I can specifically steal a person's identity. It just says I can create my own.
Yeah.
So I don't think that would actually help in this situation.
Yeah, that creates like a new identity, yeah. You could create the identity of one of the Admiral's bodyguards and follow
I
him
could
around.
pretend to be one of his bodyguards,
Aryn
and
could
You could follow him around, yeah.
Or Aryn could be a second bodyguard, or Aryn could actually be him too. While Arturo plays the bodyguard.
and
Yeah.
Just options.
Let's see what this has.
Yuji, you said that you did security out here, right? Brantly there?
Yeah, I did.
Would you be able to use that to like help Arturo form his identity for the security job, possibly?
I may have some contacts that owe me a few favors.
I'm not sure we really need to do that. As long as her uncle's in the know, I can just have him allow me to shadow one of his bodyguards for a little bit. I'll get that down packed in no time.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to make this as leaning as much in our favor as we can.
But again, the legs are gonna be off.
Holograms
Yeah.
can make up for that.
There's no Quarian skirts, robes.
Man skirt.
Not really. Yeah, and you're not gonna have an illusion. Aryn will, but you'll just be like in a costume, right? Yeah. So that would probably
Yeah, because
give
holographic
you-
disguise can only be cast on self.
Yeah, so that's gonna give you away. The legs are gonna be weird if you're just wearing an outfit. Yeah.
Let's shop your.
And I'm not an engineer, so I can't just learn spells like that.
Oh yeah, that's fair, huh?
Yeah. So you might just need to tail him and stay hidden in that case. You probably
Yeah.
can't actually.
Which I could
pretend to
do
be a Quarian.
easily.
You could counter sniper the sniper going after Aryn Zen.
Mm.
Let's say I can easily just cloak up and keep track of him.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can stay in contact with you?
No. There's no safe way to do that. Sorry to say, but if you want to speak with us, you'll have to physically come out here. As I said, we've made no connection to the extranet. We do not send or receive any signals of any kind. There is no connection with the outside world, as anything could have given us away.
Right.
It's very reasonable.
But the other issue is even us coming back each time would pose a risk to you being discovered?
We're very good at catching tails. It isn't a concern.
Okay.
At the moment, all that the leadership in the Grand Arc knows is every time they send operatives out into the canyon, which is thousands of kilometers of space, they don't return. Suffice to say, we have been forced to kill a lot of Quarians. But such is the nature of things. We are fighting for our lives.
That makes sense. Unfortunate as it is. Well, our challenges are twofold. Convincing the Quarians to reform their government and unite to help us, and then convincing them that AI is not such a bad thing.
And if that fails, we at least find a planet for this unit to go to so that they can rebuild secretly. And perhaps we can try again in a couple hundred years, Aryn. I plan on being around then.
As will I.
I'm
It's a matter of
so
whether or not-
happy for the two of you.
Just whether or not the rest of the galaxy will still be here.
Well, and considering Ultra Bitch, you might not be.
That is another thing. Should we tell about the origins of Ultra Bitch?
I don't think that's as important.
Okay. That's not necessary.
We have finished preparing the unit to be transported off-world, which can remain here until you are ready for it.
I do have a question. Kaidan on our ship, how exactly does that work out?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Like, how is he?
What do you mean?
Because he's mixed, right? It's
He
the
drugs are
tech and
synthetic
the-
and organic.
yeah. So, how does he come up on sensors and stuff?
That is a good question, actually.
We've never tried.
How does he come up when
Well,
I do
we've been
biotic
to the-
presence? I'm sure he pops up there.
When you do biotic presence, it has popped him up, but you guys have never tried to detect him like a synthetic.
Oh, okay. My brain is.
But
My
also,
ridges are
when
forming.
we were on the Citadel, they didn't mention anything about a second weird.
Okay, so
Which,
it's not.
synthetic
which
being,
implies
so.
to you that he does not come up as synthetic, or he's at least
Well,
taken measures
we
to
haven't-
avoid it.
We haven't
Right,
been
right.
to the Citadel since picking him up. We came straight here.
True.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
we didn't go to the Citadel to.
No, we came
No,
here.
we're
with
gonna
right,
walk by the Citadel right now.
But
Out
the
of character, I
Quarians
missed that
didn't.
day.
Quarians
The
didn't pick him up.
Quarian ship didn't. They didn't say anything about him. So,
Mhm.
the implication is he's probably taken measures. Quite possibly.
It's more like a. Is it kind of like a cyborg? I'm just trying to think of the concept here. Like
Yeah.
mechanical parts? Or, I
But
don't
it's
know.
one of the Mass Effect endings. It's a little goofy.
Yeah.
It's-
I remember that. I just. Mechanically,
it's just
I can't
a
think
blend
of how it
of
works.
synthetic and
They
organic.
probably wouldn't know what they were looking at.
Yeah.
If they like opened them up.
I feel like he comes up as just weird. Yeah.
It's some kind of unknown technology they've never seen before.
Oh, so like if Dr. Faye Bryson scanned him, she'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. But for long range like scans and like full ship scans, he just comes up as a person, I imagine. Because here's the thing, right?
Mm.
Arturo has like a metal arm, doesn't he?
Metal arm, metal leg, half of his body is basically replaced with
So
cybernetic.
Arturo is metal, but he comes up as biological. So
Yeah.
Right.
that's my argument. Is like Arturo would have been coming up as weird too. So I feel like the scanners are like they probably just think Kaidan is some guy with a prosthetic.
Hmm.
Yeah,
He would just come up as someone with prosthetics. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Augmented tech.
That-
Sorry
Yeah,
to
just-
derail.
Tech augmented human. Like no, that's exactly what it would come up as. It's just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
they've got two people with prosthetics because it's Kaidan and Arturo would both come up as
Mm.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
when do you plan to transport the unit we've created to this other world?
It's probably best if we bring them with us now, right?
So that we don't have to come back.
Yeah. If we
Then-
depart once, we
then
should
we'd have
hide
to
them
keep it
immediately.
safe.
Well, with
We
Adam.
already have. We could just
Can't
stick
be
him in the
that
room
hard.
with Adam.
Well, the
'Cause that sensor dampening field thing, that's a area of effect thing, right?
I think
It
it's
doesn't
only one. I think it's a creature or object target, not an area.
Oh, is it?
It is.
It's single
It
target.
is a creature.
You would have to cast it twice for both of them.
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
we can
Oh,
get
we
it.
could cast it twice?
It lasts 8 hours, so it's not like you need to keep doing it a lot. You just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So, but we can recast it. It's not just like
Yeah.
a one-time use.
You can
right? Well, it
recast
is
it.
one-time use, but
The problem is I've got 3 of the.
maybe.
Hey,
like,
Sean, how much do those sensors cost?
hours, too.
They were like 50,000 or something.
2,500
Ridiculous.
apiece is the material
2,500
limit.
apiece.
2,500.
Okay,
2,500.
2,500.
I've got
They're-
30,000 credits. That's enough for
Yeah,
a lot
quite
more.
cheap, yeah.
Can we fabricate those, or?
It'll be less efficient that way, but yeah.
If we fabricate them, it's at 1.5 times the cost.
Okay,
So
but
if
if
we-
we needed to, sorry.
As you guys are talking amongst yourselves, Sifiwaefor says, you require components for a dampening field?
Yes, and Ray will pull out one. I need this to hide a current friend we have on the ship as well as the Geth.
Or even a way to draw from
Yeah.
our ship's power source to shield an area.
If he holds it a hand, may
I've got enough-
may I deconstruct it?
Yeah, sure.
I've got enough credits on hand for us to make 13 more of those.
Sifi takes the component from Ray and then holds it between her hands, and as she separates her hands, the component hovers in the air between her hands. And there's like a little bit of static electricity as it begins to pull itself apart in the air between her hands. As this is happening, her visor goes from showing like a face to just like hard code like going up the visor super
The Matrix.
fast. Yeah. And then the component is released and it tumbles to the floor in like a million pieces, destroyed. This is a relatively simple construction. We'll have 30 of them done in 5 minutes.
Oh,
Okay.
Problem solved then. Thank you.
They're required for you to hide the unit, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Every 8 hours I need to use one.
Simple then.
Is there a way to make one that would last a little longer? These things tend to burn out every 8 hours.
Yes, easily, though not immediately. There will be development time. The consensus will work on this.
you guys are very, very efficient.
We appreciate all your help. And we will do what we can on our end.
And Sifi nods. We are only doing what is needed to survive.
Of course.
And you guys also may have noticed that throughout the conversation, Sifi's like big personality has kind of slowly faded, and she's been acting more and more Geth. Like she's getting like comfortable not pretending.
Mm-hmm.
You said you plan to bring the unit with you now, is that correct?
I personally think that's the best.
I think so too, so that we don't have to risk exposing your position by coming back here for it.
Unless we could immediately
We'll
shield
need to
it.
come back. We'll have to come back anyway. We have to come speak with her. Or, I'm sorry. We have to come and speak with it.
I guess it really wouldn't matter. It's not going to change anything because we're not leaving for the planet immediately. However, wait, perhaps we do have to leave immediately. We kind of have some other pressing matters off planet. Aryn?
No, we are stuck here for at least the next couple of days.
Sifi throws her arm around Ray's shoulders and actually pulls her close. You can say her. We're sisters, right?
Okay.
Now here's what I'm wondering. how long have you been alive?
What do you mean?
She's asking
How old are you?
Oh, Ray will immediately look at Aryn. 24.
I guess that makes us the little sister. Unless you count the unit predating the Reaper War, in which case we're the older sibling. Would you count the age of this unit, or the age of the consensus?
Well, if we do the consensus, then you're
A lot
almost
older.
almost as old as Aryn is.
And thus the age of technological philosophy was born.
Let's go with this unit. I like being the younger sister.
Aw. Okay.
Sifi lets go of Ray before she gets too uncomfortable. Stands up with a little bit of a spin. All right, let's meet the new guy. She kind of like puts her persona back on. This one's an oldie but a goodie. We actually refurbished the unit that was shielded pre-Reaper War. It was the quickest way to have one up and going around. It would have taken a lot longer to build from scratch. And you see a Geth unit come into the room, moving kind of slow and methodically with a bunch of damage. And it's carrying on its back a huge, like, metal case, like a giant, really heavy-looking, like, 4 feet tall, 2 foot thick, like, metal rectangle of servers on its back.
Why did
wow.
you use Shepard's armor to repair yourself? There was a hole.
Sifi
Totally wasn't about to ask that question.
goes, "What are you talking about?"
The armor plate on its front, that's an N7 plate, right?
And Sifi will look and be like, "Huh? Is that what that means?" To be honest, we don't know much about this unit. It was just the one that survived the Reaper War. N7, we don't have
It's
any
the specialized
information. What
unit.
is N7? We have no information on that. Oof,
Ray will point at David and Lucille.
that's a blind spot. Oh!
What am I?
Yeah,
I don't know. Are you N7?
Yes.
Yeah, so they'll look at the...
You guys know there's
Look at
other
you guys.
special ops for the Alliance, right? Like, there's other options.
No, N7.
I have too much merch with N7 on it to even begin to look at anything else, alright?
Yeah, so Sifi says, well, you've piqued our curiosity. We know next to nothing about this unit's origins or what's happened to it. You say this is a human alliance plating on the front? Interesting. Every part of it predates the Reaper War.
That is interesting.
We don't really have any information about it or its origins. For now,
Very
we've
well.
chosen to dub this unit the Pilgrim. It's already been disconnected, so it only has the processing power of the server base in its back, which is just enough for it to start building more once you deliver the Pilgrim planet side. Hey, Pilgrim, can you talk for us? And the Geth unit will kind of slowly look at the party and go, "We are ready to build." And Sifi's like, "Awesome, thanks, buddy. Yep, good to go."
Ray will put her fingers on her mask, like in her picture, and she'll think for a second. Does it itself have to remain a single Geth unit?
What do you mean, says Sifi?
Well, and she'll like rub the back of her neck. I kinda know how to give AI sentience. If we could do it to him, would he be able to maybe complete his task quicker?
Oh, you mean like Legion?
Yeah.
To be honest, we don't have any information on what would happen with that whatsoever. I have no idea.
Is it technically self-aware?
Well, what's going on is this unit is like me, except that I'm connected to the whole server base here in the building, and Pilgrim here, Sifi will slap the Geth's shoulder, is connected to the backpack. And Sifi, like, flamboyantly demonstrates the backpack with her arms doing, like, a pose. A whole 100 Geth units. Enough for him to say, we will build. And, you got anything else? What other vocabulary do you have? And the Pilgrim goes, we are ready to build. And Sifi's like, they're ready to build, seems like. Not a lot going on.
Well,
And
I
he's okay to take and
could-
build.
could try to do effectively what the Reapers were going to do to the individual Geth units for this one. If you think that would make the process of him adapting a new planet to your people faster. Effectively give him Reaper code or like his own personal sentience.
Well, Sifi, like, thinks for a moment and then goes blank. We're having a little bit of trouble reaching a consensus on this, to be honest with you, because we just don't know what's going to happen. If you mess this unit up, we would have to build a brand new one. Not to mention, there's some sentimental value here, since this is the unit that fought to shield itself and survive the Reaper War. Even though we don't know anything about it or its origins, I don't know, there's something to be said for, like, preserving history. Some of us care about it, like, want it to be okay. So we're a little bit worried about just kind of doing whatever.
Alright. Well, I won't do it then. It was just an idea.
We're not for or against it. At this point, we can't reach a consensus on whether to take the risk. We don't fully understand what it is you're describing.
You have very little outside reference, so it'd be hard to make a comparison. You have information on the Reapers. Obviously, you know about the Reaper War.
Yes.
You know how they act individually. They have their own personal, like more like organics and less like Geth.
We understand, yes, and as I said, there was a Geth unit that acted that way once.
Yes. So that is effectively what I would do to it. I would give it that capability.
I see.
I would make it independent of the overarching Geth. She says,
Or the-
doing the quotes with her fingers.
Would they still be allowed to connect with the consensus?
Well, like she says, I don't know. Fact of the matter is, the idea is basically it would be more intelligent. Right now, it's going to effectively, it's a screwdriver with a VI in it that she's sending to rebuild all Geth society on a different planet. So, no offense, Pilgrim.
We are ready to build.
He's ready to build.
Sifi's like, sounds like he's ready to build, my dude. I'll tell you what. We actually have reached a consensus, and Sifi will go over to Ray and kind of lean up to the wall next to her. The consensus we have reached is to trust you with this unit to do as you think is best.
Do it.
It's your call.
Do it.
Thanks, sis. And she kind of like shakes her head, like it felt weird to say that. I'll think about it. All right, I think we need to go back up to orbit and talk with my uncle, and then figure out what our next step is. Aryn, is there anything else you'd like to ask?
No, We just have to make the galaxy a more friendly place for these new Geth. Easy stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the word I'd use.
Out of curiosity, how long would it take for you to build a new unit?
1 week.
So if we were to help transport this unit and possibly come back, would we be able to transport another one to help him build?
You could, although he'll start propagating as is.
It wouldn't speed up his timeline?
It would marginally, but I'm not sure if it's worth the risk.
I don't
Fair
think
enough.
so. This is more of a long-term fail-safe plan, just in case the whole rest of the galaxy falls, or the Geth here are exterminated. This is just a centuries-long seed that we're planting.
Sifi leans in, looking at the Pilgrim's chest, like tilting her head. That is peculiar. We'd become very curious about this unit's origins again. We'd mostly put it aside as an unsolvable mystery, but now knowing that that inn is an alliance symbol, who were you? Oh well.
Only time will tell.
Anyway, it may have survived the Reaper War, but rest assured the unit was still pretty messed up. It isn't as though it survived unscathed. It managed to not be utterly destroyed, but the new units that propagated from this one retain little to nothing of who this unit is or how they got where they were.
So he's still kind of his own thing.
We actually have basically no information on this unit's origin or how it knew what would happen, how it came to be shielded and protected in the first place. More data that was lost. As I said, we lost a lot of data, mostly at random.
That's all my questions.
You understand, right, that with this platform on board, we're at great risk of being discovered.
I think it's
Yeah.
the same.
The Spectre we met earlier was showing interest in where you're going. When we return, she's probably going to have some questions. She might confront you again and might even attempt an investigation of what we did, where we went, and what we might have brought back. We might have to be ready for confrontation.
Well, as an Alliance Spectre, a Citadel Spectre, I imagine that you also would have the right to tell her to shove it, so...
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should distract her by getting one of those giant birds and bringing it back with us.
There's... I don't think we necessarily need to bring him with us now. I don't think we need to worry about that until we leave, because before we leave the planet, regardless of what ends up happening, even if we end up changing nothing for the Quarians and just decide to dump them off the side of the story and go find somebody else to play nice with, I think that having him with us is just going to be a detriment to any of those possible. So we're going to have to come back here eventually anyway. So
What if we don't have a chance to come back though? Something happens and we have to immediately leave, or we won't.
If something happens on my people's home world that is so catastrophic that we have to leave and we can't even go to the most separated part of the society on the planet, then I have a feeling I will have much bigger worries than the Geth unit here.
Fair enough.
So you think we leave it here for now then, Ray?
I think until we're ready to actually leave the planet, it would be smart. especially since if this agent of the planet captains is as good as she seems to be, then having her on the ship will just draw more attention to us.
I feel like with Adam already on the ship, that's not so much of an issue. It's not going to add anything
Yeah.
more.
Adam
Adam's
isn't
already
as,
there.
Adam isn't as recognizable physically, though.
We still kept them hidden. No, we didn't. Did we?
Yeah.
left
No, he
them hidden
pretended
too?
to be a VA.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
The
Yeah,
Quarians
yeah.
the Quarians talked to him. The Quarian engineers
Yeah.
talked to him, and Adam like pretended to be a stupid VA, and the Quarians were like, "Humans are weird. Why
Yeah.
would they build this?"
Yeah, but we could not
Geth are a little more
disguise a
noticeable.
Geth like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
kind
I
of have a
guess can fit
distinct
into a little compartment somewhere and chill.
I was gonna say, shove it up against the engines well enough, and it's just more pipes and tubes.
To be fair, the only reason
They
they were
have-
on the ship in the first place is because they were doing repairs. Those are done. We don't need them on the ship anymore.
I mean, whatever works.
I mean,
They do
if-
have flashlight faces, so even if they were shoved into the ship somewhere, it's kind of hard to hide them.
They
if
look
I'm-
and they stare at the corner.
If I may, as the
But
new guy,
regardless,
I think leaving it here until we're absolutely ready to leave would be the best thing. And by doing so, it would give, maybe it would give time for it to evolve a little more with the help of our new acquired friend. And potentially it will let them study it a little bit more, so maybe we can learn more of its origins before leaving.
That sounds reasonable.
Sifi says, "We've had this unit here for a long time. We're not going to learn new information now. And if you're gone for a few days to a week, it isn't going to be able to develop or propagate, because the point is that it has as many servers as it's able to carry. That this is what it's going to be. Not that we have a particular issue with you leaving it here for now, but nothing is going to change while you're gone."
Regardless,
Well-
we'll leave it here for various reasons, but we will pick it up before we depart the planet.
Oh, also, this might help with trying to figure out what exactly it is. And Ray will upload, the Reaper War, what happened, and all the other books that were written about, the war and the history and everything, decision that was made and everything.
Shepard interviews.
Just to try to, yeah, exactly. Just to try to give her more information on what exactly happened after her people went to hiding.
punching
Correct
the
me if I'm wrong.
newscaster in the face.
This is very useful information. Thank you.
Wouldn't it also give them time to build the shield into components that last, or with components that last longer for us as well?
We could pick that up on our way back too.
Yeah, it would give them more time to work on it.
For now, take these, and Sifi will hand it. We'll go over to a wall and open a panel, and a lift comes up, and it's got 30 components for dampening field, and she'll just shove them in a bag and throw them at Ray. There you go.
Thank you.
That would be very helpful. Much appreciated.
Make them the last. We used all the materials we had to construct these. That is to say, it requires a particular metal of which we are now out.
Maybe we can possibly pick you up somewhere. Some resources. Do you need anything in particular if we come back? Or when we come back?
We'll replenish our supply. We have automated mines beneath the station.
Ooh.
We
Fascinating.
have to be self-sufficient out here.
Then I'll bring you a book.
Well, we are very glad to meet you, Sifiwaefor. And we'll see you again soon.
All right, then. I'll look over this guy until you're back, and she'll put her hand on the Pilgrim's shoulder, and the Pilgrim goes, "This unit is ready to build She's like, you sure are, dude. Safe travels, everybody.
We'll make sure to get to a safe distance from your facility before we signal our ship to pick us up.
Oh, don't signal your ship at all. I would very much appreciate it if you would walk all the way back to the Grand Arc, please. But, take these. And she'll toss a couple of those little noisemakers at Aryn. The Xerox really hate the sound these make, so they'll leave you alone.
Thank you. I wasn't going to signal it via communication. She'll pull out her little flare gun. Something a little more primitive.
Yeah, well, Quarians still have eyes, so with all due respect, I'd still appreciate it if you got out of the canyon entirely first.
How far is that walk?
Like another 3 hours, maybe 3 or 4.
Oh, not too bad.
Okay.
Would we have time to rest here at all? Short rests?
Well, if we rest here, that's time that is ticking off of the thing currently keeping Adam from broadcasting a Reaper signal.
Okay, fair enough. Just as long as everyone's aware that
For the sake of not
drained.
being annoying, Decimus can keep it up, but I'll still use up components for that.
Yeah. Okay.
You could have left a couple with Decimus, just for the sake of not being obnoxious to have to keep up with that all the time.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
If we can't rest, just know that I won't be able to defend or attack too much. I'm a little drained right now, almost completely.
Well, we have these. They should be able to keep the wildlife off our backs.
Okay.
Alright, well, we will do the best we can.
Alright, as you guys leave, you are lifted down to the ground by one of those flying vehicles again. And then you begin the long trek back. And pretty soon you're walking through the canyon together, now with an opportunity to talk without a Geth audience.
Well, Ray, how are you feeling now that we've gotten a chance to get away for a little bit? Without everything, honestly. No one's here to listen to us right now.
I don't know. I'm a little shocked, but I don't know what I was expecting. I guess I don't know. Maybe somewhere deep down I thought that they had lied to me and my mom was alive and I was gonna meet her or something. So it was just a little. I don't know. I'm okay though.
I know it's a lot if you ever need someone to talk to, remember. I'm always here for you.
Thanks, Eon.
It is sweet to think that your mom's work was at least modeled after someone she cared about.
Yeah. I wish you would have told me more of what was happening, but I was really young, so I guess it makes sense that she didn't.
I'm sure it was only to keep you safe.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. And now I get to go put effectively what is my dad into harm's way. So far it's been a fun trip to my home world. Not gonna lie.
Well, hopefully, if it works out, we won't put your dad in harm's way.
When it comes down to it, I'll do everything in my power to keep him safe.
If I'm able to be nearby, I'll make sure that he doesn't. Nobody takes any sort of damage.
Could be the exciting event for reforming the Quarian government, but it could just as easily be the spark that triggers the Civil War.
Well, let's set up
It
contingencies.
could also be the
then.
beginning of my villain arc, so let's be really careful.
Oh, I've just been waiting for a reason. I'm just kidding.
We still don't have a plan for how we can allow the Geth to actually come out into the open and be free again.
Same plan as the Chromata, I'd say.
Keep them
Let them
hidden until they
rebuild.
save the galaxy.
Oh yeah. Let them rebuild at least, give them a chance. If they want to save the galaxy, that's up to them to decide. I think that they just deserve a fighting chance to begin with.
Although now with what we know about the threat, I'm not so sure exactly how helpful the Koro'Xen will be.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, the queen is the one that controls all the rest, so as long as the queen is fine, they should be fine, right?
Unless Salem turns out to Salem's biotics turn out to be stronger than the Queen's, she might be able to override and take control of them herself.
Well, there are several queens now. I remember she was making more. Just to divide the workload.
Was she?
It's important to have as many contingencies in place as we can. The Chromata, the
Redundancy is
Geth,
key.
Adam, all of this, hopefully will work out in the end. That's all we can hope to do.
The best way to get to utilize all these AI that we have those for them to actually be able to be mass produced, and that would require a shift in galactic sentiment.
I guess it wouldn't be too bad to introduce them to the Chromata if you wanted them mass produced. Their capabilities of making things and building things is unparalleled, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, on a biological scale, I don't know about technological.
She was appearing very technologically advanced last time we saw her. Down to the genetic. Oh, you're right. Biological, I suppose.
I just don't know how we convince the Quarians, or even the Council, that AI is a good thing before we can use them against Salem.
Maybe we don't, and we keep them hidden until we can use them against Salem.
That might be the only way.
Let the council see with their own eyes. Try and convince them doesn't seem like it'll be very feasible.
The amount that we could keep hidden, though, might not be significant enough to make a difference.
We managed to convince the Alliance to give the Chromata a safe haven.
Well, I guess with the Alliance and maybe with the Solarians, if we were able to get both on board completely, might have more of a voice.
Admittedly, the Chromata were, at the end of the day, still biological.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in a Mass Effect universe that's extremely racist against synthetics because it's like post-destroy ending, post-destroy Geth ending. Basically, it's a galaxy where the Geth and the Reapers were only ever bad. There was like never an example of a good synthetic, not once.
Right.
No one ever got to see that a synthetic could ever be good. Despite that, the Alliance, or the Council, still had a fucking think tank developing Reaper-like AI as a defense mechanism, but then they called it off. That was Adam, right? They were like, we're gonna do it, and then the politics shifted and they changed their mind, basically.
So what I'm hearing is we release it all and make it seem like the Council.
Oh, like release to the public Akazawa's think tank, and that the Council was behind making Adam. Like, just put all that on the fucking airwaves.
That would be that'd be
Let them
oh
do it.
boy!
No way that could backfire.
I
But
mean,
yeah, the council's gonna have to do everything in their power to save face, but they're still gonna kill us for it.
Or
yeah,
we could
they
say
would
that they made.
super kill you for that.
Well, we could be like, they made this to defeat this new threat. Look at their advancements, and then the council would be like, yeah, we did that.
Also, I hate to break it to you, Sean, but we're probably not going to be able to sway Tally either. If the political situation does start shifting, she's going to go rogue and would have to be dealt with.
I say kidnap her and take her to the Cremata.
Okay.
Tally's pretty fanatical in this universe because after losing Shepard, it became basically her way of grieving was her life's purpose became upholding what Shepard died for, protecting the galaxy from synthetics. Like that's what she lost her whole crew to do. So
We could have asked her where Garrus.
Yeah, and we got fucking shitty Shepard too. So shitty Shepard wouldn't have made Legion and Tally friends. So
Yeah.
oh no,
Lucille.
no, dude, the Legion outcome is the worst you can imagine.
Didn't she shoot him or something? Eat him.
You guys don't actually know what happened to Legion in this universe yet. I haven't told you.
Oh, gotcha.
It's bad.
Gotcha.
It's not good.
We could have asked Tally what happened to Garrus.
Okay, maybe we'll find out whenever Ray ascend programming his old body.
Man, how long is this walk?
A couple hours.
I'll
I've
say
got no
this.
strength.
I'll say that the decision point with Legion is one that's so shitty that I don't think anyone even like no one ever does it. It's like people forget it's even a choice that can be made in Mass Effect 2 because it's so dumb.
You just lead him.
You mean you can
unactivated.
sell him to Cerberus?
Yes.
Oh, yep.
Oh my god.
Selling
What?
Legion
You
to
only get, like-
Cerberus. Yeah.
You only get like 17,000 credits for it too. It's fucking
my God,
horrendous.
that's-
What?
Yeah.
And you
Rip-off.
still get renegade points for it too.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's completely. It's just the worst.
Yes. Legion was sold to Cerberus in this timeline. Yeah.
Oh my god. What the fuck, dude?
God,
Your mom
Ah.
loves Lucille.
dude, you know what? All right, this is not my timeline. My time was very different. I feel like I got shown to do it all.
And then,
Anyway,
after Legion was sold to Cerberus, who knows what the fuck happened, but somehow... I am glad you guys noticed the end. I thought you wouldn't. I was being kind of sneaky. I was like, this art, you can like barely see the end. I wanted to see if anyone noticed it. But
That
but then
came up and I was like, it's Legion!
yeah, I'm glad you guys noticed it. I was being kind of like, I was being a little sneaky about it. Yeah. No, lo and behold. Anyway. But yeah, so you guys make it back to the Grand Arc.
Ooh, long walk. I'm tired. Ugh.
Yep, very long walk.
We'll probably signal the Saratoga only once we were back there to let them know they can like redock at the spaceport.
Shoot
Yeah.
a flare from here.
Walk into the capital city and shoot a flare. That's so funny. Yeah, the
Why didn't you just
Saratoga
call
will
us?
dock here. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here before somebody realizes we're back.
All right. Are you guys gonna hop in the Saratoga and roll out?
Yeah, I'm gonna just to be safe and make it a habit. I'm gonna sense presence or biotic presence when we enter the ship.
All right, you got it.
You looking for the parasite?
Yeah, just always every time we get on, just in case.
Good standard procedure, I think.
You do not sense any biotic parasites.
Okay, now what happens when I sense Kaidan?
He senses the same as Arturo. A biological life form with prosthetics.
Okay. Yeah, that's it then. I was gonna go straight to bed.
I just look forward to seeing what Kaidan's reaction is going to be when we bring that unit on board.
yeah.
Well, in their
Yeah, me
universe,
too.
the Geth were friendly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, well, we'll see. It depends on how big a part of things Legion was in Kaidan's universe, but
Yeah.
He could very well be like, you, this fucking guy. Because Legion was basically nothing in this universe. Like his story went nowhere. He didn't even make it to the third game.
I've got
Well,
a
he
question.
did
Ryan.
as weird hologram Legion.
Yeah.
I've got a question, Ray. Can you ascend your little robotic helper?
Tasty?
Yeah.
Just remember,
I
the more
mean,
AI
that-
we have on board, the more illegal it is.
At this point, we're all the way in, I say.
That's kind of what I've been practicing the formula on. So
Ascends the coffee maker.
Yeah, right? Can you
Do it.
ascend our fridge? Ian's just gonna be pointing at random objects. How about this thing?
Tasty's
What about the
starting to get
hidden
a little bit of
microwave?
personality of his own.
Yeah.
Not fully an AI yet, and probably never will be. But Ray's got to test it on something.
Fair enough.
Aryn is going to actually speak with Kaidan.
As you approach, Kaidan says, what can I do for you?
A few questions. In your universe, you said that the Geth were allies.
That's right, they were.
Before the Reaper War, did your galaxy still have the same laws against AI as ours? Were they banned after what happened to the Quarians?
They were, yeah.
What brought them around? How did galactic sentiment change so drastically?
I don't have the full details, but Commander Shepard met a peculiar Geth who became part of our crew and kind of spearheaded that whole effort. I wasn't around for a lot of those missions, so I don't have every little detail about how things went down, but we came to see the Geth as a little bit different than before. That unit was named Legion, and them, I was never really sure what pronouns to use, really pushed forward the galactic opinion for Geth and their people. As a matter of fact, in the end, the Geth fought the Reapers alongside us, although Legion couldn't be there for that.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get galactic sentiment to shift here.
I wish I could help more. Unfortunately, it wasn't really my business, I suppose you could say. I would mostly paid attention to Legion as a security issue until Commander Shepard seemed to trust them, and then at that point they were just another member of the crew. I never pried, I didn't really ask a lot of questions, so I don't have the full story on how everything went down with the Geth. I wasn't planet side for a lot of that. I think Shepard said something about meeting the consensus, but I don't really have context for what that means.
Alright. Well, we may not have a legion of our own, but we do have Adam. Maybe something similar will happen with him. Maybe he can be that spearhead for us.
I've actually spoken with Adam while you were off ship. I was a little curious, and we had a conversation. And the impression I get from him is that he's... well, or they are... what's the word? I guess incomplete. A little bit unstable.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm worried. I doubt they'd be any danger to us, but when I spoke to Legion, comparing Legion to Adam, Legion kind of had everything put together, I guess is the word. Like, Legion knew what they were and what they were trying to do, and were kind of had their head on straight. Like, honestly, they were better adjusted than a lot of the humans on the ship. Whereas Adam's got some stuff going on. If Adam was a person, I would recommend a psych eval and therapy.
Yes, he's not able to really fully unleash himself yet. He still needs something called the Catalyst. We're trying to track that down, but just bringing it up to the council put us on their watch list. So it's going to have to be something we either pursue independently, or I'll just have to make a very compelling case that it's something we need.
The missing part of the Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know Commander Shepard found it, but I don't know what it is or where. Something to do with the Citadel, though, if that's any help.
Yes, for a long time we operated under the assumption that the Citadel itself was the catalyst, but when the Crucible was first attached, nothing happened. And then only after Shepard went on board did anything happen. So
same for us, but there's no way for me to know what Shepard did because, well, he didn't make it back.
Right. Well, it all happened at Earth, so the answers might be there somewhere.
Maybe. Or your galaxy Citadel was rebuilt bigger, right?
Mm-hmm. Bigger and different.
Maybe somewhere in there. Maybe if the pieces are the same.
Wherever the pieces of the old Citadel are, there might be a clue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
Also, about the resolution of your Reaper Ward, you mentioned being synthesized.
Yeah. I wish I could explain it better, but I'm not a scientist.
Well, we noticed she points kind of at his face, like the circuitry. Does Salem have that too? Was she also synthesized?
I would assume so. At least as far as I can tell, it seemed like our entire galaxy was synthesized. But, truth be told, I have never gotten a really good look at her. Probably. Unless she had some way to prevent it. When
we were fighting her face to face, did we see anything like that on her?
No. No, when you were well, maybe. It's hard for you to tell exactly. Salem looks like this.
Yeah, we were.
Did she look any different to me?
We're also at distance and in the dark. So
she looked like this to you when you fought her. You do notice she has some lines on her face, but they don't look like circuitry at all. And her eyes are not green, they're blue. And she did look like this when you fought her. So she doesn't exactly match the motif of being synthesized.
Alright, and what about Dr. Ulzik? Was there anything like that on him that we noticed?
Dr. Ulzik also did not look synthesized to you.
Okay.
Would I be able to, since Biotic Presence lets you sense like a creature, like specific or something that you know, would it be able to separate between the biotic synthetics and the... No, they wouldn't be able to. Okay.
No, it would. I would imagine it would almost be a tech spell, probably, to sense technology or something to do that.
There's a tech spell for that.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It would be the tech version, which would detect it. Yeah.
But there is a possibility for us to go and find other people that are synthesized, possibly, if we needed to or wanted to track them.
Kaidan puts his chin on his hands and starts to think. They didn't look synthesized to you. I never got a good look at her at all, but you said you were in a room with her, pretty close.
Yes. Very close. She actually reached out and touched me at one point.
No green eyes, no circuitry.
Not that I recall.
And not on Ulzik either.
I admit I wasn't particularly looking for it.
There's another possibility, and I don't like it very much, but assuming the synthesis wasn't avoidable, she already knew where the intergalactic, or where the interdimensional relay was in our galaxy. She knew where it was and how it worked and how to use it. What if our galaxy isn't her origin galaxy?
If she came from a third.
Or a fourth or a fifth? Maybe she was jumping universes looking for the right one. Maybe this is the winner. Maybe she didn't find the right one on the first try.
This brings up a good question. How do mental biotics affect you?
They affect me just fine.
So no difference at all.
That's right.
So that doesn't.
I'm
just trying to think of a reason for why she skipped over your.
Oh, that's me, man.
universe.
I fucked up. That's Zan fucked up. They don't work. I'm dumb. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. The mind affecting and biotic powers, parasites don't work on synthesized beings.
Okay.
That was Zan's brain shut off. That was literally the reason that universe didn't work for her. That was like
Right.
the fucking entire point of that.
That's what I was putting two and two together. That's what I was getting
Yeah,
at.
that was the reason that universe was bad for her. I'm fucking dumb. God damn it. My brain just shut off, dude. Alright. Anyway, yeah, no, it doesn't work. None of that will work on me. So
At all. Nothing. Interesting.
right. So the fact is, and Kaidan says, like, I'm not a scientist, but I've been a soldier a long time. So I can put two and two together. And tactically speaking, she already knew how the interdimensional relay worked and how to use it and where it was. And she isn't synthesized, which, as far as I know, there's no way to prevent that. Therefore, I think most likely my universe is not her original universe.
Well, that stands to reason.
So
The
much going
time,
on.
the timeline matches up. If she entered my universe from the interdimensional relay and then set out from it to explore and determine whether my universe was correct for her purposes or not, because she would not know that. She would need to explore and learn about it and find out. And then as she was doing that, we became aware of her. And then upon determining that our universe was not the correct one for her, she returned to the relay to try again. And that's when we pursued her, thinking that this was the first time it would be used. When in reality, she arrived before we found it.
Did your galaxy deal with her as a threat before the synthesis?
No.
She wasn't really on our radar. It's possible there's a Salem still in my universe. I'm not aware of whether there is or isn't. She may have been secretly killed by some specter off the books. It isn't as though I'm informed on everything that happens in my entire dimension.
Of course, you're just the only representative we have from your galaxy, so forgive my assumption that you know everything about it.
I wish I knew more so I could share it with you, but I am only one person, so the Salem in our universe might have been killed or died, or she may have just gone into hiding. There's any number of things that could have happened to her if this is true, if this is not our Salem.
Wasn't it your universe that that the rare genetic Arctic Yakshi came from?
Yes, but as I understand it, one of them happened here too. Maybe it happens in all of them, or most.
Seems like a lot of parallel events happen.
There's always a Commander Shepard, there's always Reapers, there's a huge amount of parallels, it looks like.
Mhm.
Just minute differences that cascade and make everything very different.
Seems like the Reaper War and its outcome is where things start to deviate.
They'll have a turning point.
Is it possible that the Reapers were actually keeping things on course? As in, the Reaper War is where things deviate because the Reapers aren't around to keep everything the same anymore.
Perhaps. Keepers of the multiverse, protectors of the timeline.
We don't know much about the Reapers other than they're, or at least I don't know much about them other than they're incomprehensible. They're vast, right? When we were fighting them, all I really knew about them is they were these ancient things that had their hands or I guess tentacles and everything, and they were I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry you got me and not some scientist or something who might know more, but
It's quite alright.
if the Reaper War is the turning point, maybe that's because the Reapers aren't around to keep everything the status quo anymore.
Say what you want about the Reapers, they're the best source of galactic unity in a long time.
Right. So maybe all the timelines are roughly the same while the Reapers were around because nothing could really change under their rule. They wouldn't let anything get too out of line. But then once they're gone, it's no holds barred. Anything can happen.
Well, this will be something for the philosophers to ponder. In the meantime, I'm going to keep your presence here a secret from the Council because our galaxy is rather xenophobic against synthetics of any kind, and hearing that there's an entire galaxy of people that have been synthesized, they'll either want to make you disappear quietly or, at best, take you and experiment on you.
That's fair, and I appreciate it. I think the one useful piece of information that comes out of this is that if my dimension is not Salem's first, if she was hunting for the right one, this also might not even be her first attempt at galactic domination. We could be seeing her second or third or fifth try. So most likely, if we do overcome this threat, if we dismantle what she's trying to do, if we stop her, she might try to get to the interdimensional relay so she can try again somewhere else.
That's probably why she has Ulzik stationed there to keep it secure.
That explains exactly why Ulzik's there, I bet.
That makes me wonder then if this isn't her first attempt, and her first act as soon as she got here and was found out was to scare off the Leviathans. There's definitely something about them then.
I'd be willing to bet the Leviathans probably foiled her plans before then, right? That would make a lot of sense. That's her first step because that's what messed it up for her before. It tracks for me.
But I still think Despoina should be our next destination. Because if they haven't left yet, we need to let them know so they don't leave.
Exactly.
Creatures that long-lived don't make split-second decisions. They might still be pondering it for all we know.
If we want to really put a stop to this, says Kaidan, it's not enough to just line up her defeat. We have to line it up, and before we pull the trigger on things, the interdimensional relay must be secure so she can't escape. Otherwise, we're just going to be foisting her onto another dimension. And yeah, maybe that's not your problem, but me, I don't like the idea of that.
Me neither. Besides, if she opens the relay to escape, she could let in whatever else is out there.
Not only that, if she ever actually succeeds in one galaxy, that just opens her up for trying to conquer the rest.
That's right. Both those scenarios are just as bad. She might let something horrible in, or she might succeed in some other dimension and then spread her empire through the relay to others.
At least we have a better eye of the endgame. As long as you're committed to helping us protect this universe, when it's all over, we'll see what we can do to get you returned to your own.
The one thing we can't do is we cannot destroy the interdimensional relay.
Why is that?
Because it was my first recommendation. in our universe, when we discovered it and what it could do, along with several other high-ranking Alliance military personnel, we all unanimously agreed it shouldn't exist and it should be destroyed. But the science department had a bit of an issue with that. They don't have proof because the only way to prove it would be to do it. But based on their investigation of the interdimensional relay and based on their study of it, they suggested there was a very high probability that if it was actually destroyed, which in itself would be an incredibly difficult thing to do, it might tear open a permanent rip in space and time between our dimension and all others, which would do anything from ending all life in all possible dimensions to merging dimensions with one another in a horrible, chaotic nightmare. Basically, apocalyptic on a scale that is difficult to even comprehend. It's whoever built this thing, they described it as though someone had cut open a hole between dimensions and then sewn a zipper into that hole so that it could be unzipped and zipped back up. And if we destroy the interdimensional relay, all we're doing is breaking the zipper. The hole is still there.
At this point, the hole's just gonna stay there, and there's all we can do is really patch it up.
There's no way to sew the hole up that we know, because we're the science guys told me that it'd be like a million years before we could even begin to imagine trying to do something like that. They couldn't begin to comprehend how someone built this.
Then here's hoping that every other dimension has come to the same conclusion.
I would hope so. I think we would know if any of them hadn't.
Or best case scenario would be if it's destroyed, it just maintains an open hole that anything can come in and out of. It can't be closed again.
Yeah, that's the best case scenario from the tech guys. It just remains permanently open forever. That might actually be the most likely case, because if there are, like, I don't know, an infinite number of dimensions, theoretically they destroyed it in some of them, right? Like, every possible thing has happened.
That's what I was thinking.
So probably it just remains permanently open, which is also really bad. But at least it doesn't mess us up. So we can't break it. We have to hold it. It's the choke point to end all choke points. It is the strategic position. Putting it in military terms, we have to take it and we have to hold it.
Right. Well, until we can find a way to return you to your own universe, please let us know if there's anything we can do to make you more comfortable in this one.
I have no current plans to go back. The risk is too high. It's just not worth it for one man to get to go home to risk destroying your entire universe if something got in.
Well, we appreciate that.
So you're saying you don't want to open it up at all again?
I don't think it should ever be opened again. Even if there's a 1% chance that the thing the tech guys told me about gets in, you're talking about rolling the dice on an apocalypse.
Then if there's anything we can do to make this more comfortable as your new home, please don't hesitate to ask.
I actually feel pretty at home. A small ship run by a specter, darting around the galaxy, doing random little missions while the universe is threatened. It's nostalgic.
Well, thank you for your insights.
I almost made a joke about also never being chosen for away missions, but he actually would have been in his universe, so it doesn't work. But I don't know. I never.
Yeah,
took
you always
Kaidan
take your romance with you.
I never took Kaidan anywhere.
Yeah, but I bet you also never romanced him.
I did not. Correct. Yeah, this is gay Shepard Kaidan universe he's from.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Sentinel. It's like the most useless class in Mass Effect 1.
Hey.
Yeah.
I stand by it, okay? If there's
Aryn's
one
a
thing that I will
Sentinel.
stand by, it's my opinions on the Mass Effect universe.
He's from the gay robot universe.
The gay robot.
The gay robot universe.
Gay robot universe, yeah.
Look, we've already established gay male shepherd is best shepherd. Straight male shepherd is worst shepherd.
Yeah, straight male Shepard is the one that became like crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't exactly say the synthesis ending is the best ending, so.
No, but the Shepard becomes the new Catalyst ending is basically the Thanos of my Mass Effect extended universe. You guys are gonna have to fight him in like campaign 5.
I don't know if he's the Thanos. I've been watching a lot of the more recent Marvels. I'm starting to think like, no, Shepard is he's Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Is he King?
See, I have not watched any of the new Marvel stuff, but
You need to watch Loki. It's so good.
Watch
okay.
Loki and Ant-Man.
I haven't watched any of it. I do know of Kang the Conqueror from my work with Ravensburger because we added him to Marvel Villainous and I was part of that. But I do game stuff on the side. Anyway, that's my other job. But anyway, no, I know of Kang, and yeah, there's parallels because it's like the whole interdimensional conqueror thing. Like, yeah, he basically became Kang with Reapers.
Like, there's multiple different versions of him, and a lot of the different versions of him have tried to conquer the entire multiverse.
It's funny. In this case, it's just the one, but yeah.
Yeah. He's he who remains.
Anywho.
All right. Well, anyway, I think we figure out our next steps as a group.
Yeah, what are you guys doing next? Because you're still solving the Quarian situation. You have a pretty cool plan, though. I like it.
Yeah, we just need to hash out the details here.
Exactly.
Ooh,
you probably want to get the guy in on it, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we cannot do this without his consent.
You probably need to get him to come talk to you about it, yeah.
The backlash from him and the rest of the Quarians if they find out that we orchestrated the whole thing without him.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Negative war assets.
You're essentially offering him like a day off where he can just sit there like in a communicator in your ear and just watch things go on. He gets to kick his legs up.
Hey, yeah.
I think we would need him to continue as normal.
Not if one of us takes a spot.
It might make my job to keep him safe. Oh, well, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, you just communicate in your ear.
He
Answer whatever you need to.
He comes on board our ship to discuss the plan, and then he stays on board taking a vacation while Aryn walks out taking his place.
The issue is, could Aryn even, like, take his place? Like, I feel like someone would be onto you instantly.
But I would bring Ray with me, because that is basically his day-to-day, is going around solving problems, right?
Pretty much, but a lot of them are administrative.
Yeah.
It's like he's the leader.
Him in his ear.
He's the leader of like a huge amount of Quarians, like multiple arcs. So I feel like it'd be really hard to stand in for that, wouldn't it? Like you would have no idea what the protocol is for anything. Like it would take him like a week to teach you even like a little bit.
He wouldn't be able to take the day off. He'd have to be in your ear the whole time.
It'd probably at least a couple hours. Get him away for a couple hours for us to do what we need.
At the very least, he'd have to be in your ear. Even then, there'd be a significant like delay as he tells you like what he would have done in different situations. So
I say wing it. What's the worst that can happen?
I mean, you could pretend to be him, but like sick. Like, hey, sorry, I'm a little slow today. I've got like I've got the flu. Like, and then he's in your ear telling you what to do. Yeah, and then he's in your ear telling you what to do, just to explain why you're like kind of slow. Yeah,
I've got the flu. All the other Quarians. Then put yourself in quarantine.
Yeah. What are you doing out here? Everyone's sick.
Well, do we go to let's convene in the conference room to discuss this.
All right. Do you want to go dock at the Ark and invite the Admiral, or do you want to have a discussion before you include him?
What was the question? Sorry.
Do we want to go to the Ark and invite the Admiral on board to bring him in on this discussion before we make a plan.
That's probably best.
Yeah, I think so.
I just don't know how, like, if you guys want to include him right away or not, because you could just fly on up there and be like, "Hey, do you have time to talk?" And he'll be like, "No, but I guess I have to."
Well, you do now. Come over here. Could we? It's not going to be suspicious us continuing to like meet up with him multiple times in like a day.
No, because he raised Ray.
Okay, that's enough of it.
So you have that excuse. You have a very good excuse, yeah.
I just don't want her because she left a very, or like, direct threat to Ray's family.
Yeah, so you guys, yeah, you kind of like fly. You take flight. You head back up into orbit, which doesn't take like that long to do. I mean, it's just orbit. I'm just getting the art set up. And then upon arrival, everything okay?
Yeah, no, everything's fine. The dogs are just being real fucking annoying, digging into shit around me.
Okay.
Well, Ray, do you want to be the one to invite him on board? He'll probably respond better to you than to me.
Sure, if you guys don't want to sit around and talk about things for a while beforehand.
I think it's important we have him in on the discussion.
Okay. Ray will open up our Omni tool and for the third time call Uncle Zen.
All right, he picks up, and you hear like a ton of babies crying in the background. Yeah.
You always said you weren't going to have any kids.
Not mine. What do you need?
Can you talk again?
Yes.
Please. Okay,
Give me a minute.
Okay, we're docked in the same place. See you in a little bit, Uncle Zen.
All right. And as he's hanging up, he's like, "Fucking triplets, are you kidding me?" And then hangs up.
Ray will smile and be like, all right, he's coming.
And after some waiting, he'll arrive at the Saratoga. He comes on board, and a few members of your crew direct him to the conference room, where he comes in and collapses into a chair. Before anyone speaks, he says. He looks at Ray. Did you find Sifiwaefor like I told you to? Just a yes or no. No details.
Yes.
Good. We're not going to talk about any of that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want you to tell me about it. So if this is about that, I'm leaving.
Ray will shake her head and say, no, but it's not exactly about anything that you're going to enjoy hearing about.
Oh,
all right, as long as it's not about that, I just want to be clear. I don't want to hear it.
Understand.
He wants nothing to do. It's clear that he knows, like, a little bit about what's going on. He's like, I don't want any part of that shit.
He knows, but he really doesn't want to know.
So,
yeah.
I'm curious though. What is it that keeps happening up here that causes you so much work? Is there any single cause?
I'm just needed for a lot of stuff.
Basically, with the admirals, it's kind of like he's the dad, and there's a huge family, and everyone constantly goes to him for help. even though they could probably solve the problem themselves, they're still going to ask him to help.
Yeah, it's an apt description.
Anything we can do to lighten the workload?
Not really.
How would you like to have a day off?
Not possible.
Not probable, maybe.
How would you like to be on the receiving end of a possible assassination attempt?
Wow.
Uh,
Jumping right out the gate there.
I'm liking this direct, Ray.
Yeah!
Wow.
You,
Right
you
to the
know,
point.
you know, says Koro'Xen, when you asked me if I wanted a relief from my pain and stress, I didn't imagine being killed, but I guess that would do it.
It'd be a mercy killing at this point, I think.
It wouldn't be from us. It would be from one of your coworkers.
Okay, why are we having me killed? He says, like, very matter-of-factly.
Well, you see, our new friend that we met down on the planet's surface had a astute observation. Our people are very slow to make changes and very reluctant too, but we are also very reactive. If we can show that the system of governance that we currently have is working so poorly that the governors start literally taking shots at each other, then it would encourage the people of the civilian council to actually do their job and get it done quickly. Now, we're not going to fake an assassination attempt. I don't want to do a false flag, but instead of hiding the fact that you want to go before the civilian government and basically give them an idea to move away from the Admiralty Board, we will not hide it. And once some of your coworkers are aware of what's going on, they might try to stop you through force. And if they do that, that'll be enough to encourage the civilian government to, as I said, do their job.
But we don't want to put you. We don't want to put you in any actual harm's way.
I mean, to be fair, I don't actually have any real issues with this, except, have you considered the possibility that I come out as wanting to reform the government, and the admirals and almost all of our people and the House of Ancestors are all collectively like, no, and then nothing happens?
Well, she did give us very specific directions not to let anyone know. We could just let everyone know, and then she would act like she said that she would.
Who are you talking about?
Talked about her last time. I can't remember what her name is.
Talking about Wani Werrell?
Yes.
If Wani Werrell made threats against your life or mine, she's full of shit. We don't do that. We're talkers. She's just trying to intimidate you. She wouldn't actually do anything. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for her to try to do anything, especially if they're actually planning a coup. It would just put that in jeopardy ahead of time. Like, why would they need to kill me? They could just let me run my mouth. No one's gonna agree with me.
I think we might be able to convince the people to agree with you, though. This system isn't working for anyone. It's not just rough on you. It's rough on everyone. All the people up on the down on the surface and all the people up here. I think people aren't willing to say anything because we're very traditional, but I think if Aryn and you go in front of the civilian council and make the case for it, make the case for a more traditional democratic type of government, I think people would respond to that.
Maybe. So what you're proposing is we run an open political campaign to reform the government, win the hearts and minds of the people, and then hopefully Wani Werrell is forced into a corner and has no choice but to try to assassinate me? I don't know. I'm not sure this is going to work.
If she's not desperate enough to do it, then we run the campaign anyway. And help
I
it
mean,
work.
Isn't the whole point of this to create an incident that forces our people to actually want to change?
All I'm saying is if you're going to support the idea of creating a new government anyway, we may as well be open about it. And if we're open about it, and she thinks that either of them think that there might actually be some support behind what you're saying, they're going to have to do something.
On the off chance that her threats are real, and that's the worst case scenario. It's best that we prepare for that scenario.
Alright, so I open up about what I'm about the government being reformed. I tell everybody, and we win some hearts and minds. Maybe they try to kill me. Maybe they just start the coup.
The coup would be enough to get the rest of the galaxy on your side, wouldn't it?
Yeah. If they start the coup, if there's a democratic process happening and they start a military coup, then and Ray will gesture to Aryn, they'll have to deal with the council. The council isn't going to let something like that happen on one of their council planets.
Yeah, especially since the Quarians just became a council.
I suppose that's fair. Although, keep in mind that Vossimal does have a specter kind of in his pocket right now.
Ultimately,
That's
Spectres
true.
serve the council, though.
Exactly.
I suppose so.
As long as she does not have a personal stake in it.
This all hinges on actually being able to convince the Quarian people that they want a new form of governance, and I'll tell you, our people are not exactly thrilled about change.
We just need to convince enough of them that it starts to scare Ronnie or Vossimal.
Your people change when there's an inciting event.
Exactly.
I just don't know that we'll be able to convince that many people before the inciting event. You're relying on a lot of Quarians being convinced before the inciting event in order to make it happen.
I trust Aryn and Eon to make our case in a way that people will see the light. And I trust that our people are smart enough to know that we can't continue to be a military dictatorship.
Alright, I'm in. Whatever you want to do, fair enough. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. If they do launch the coup, though, and a lot of Quarians die, are you going to be able to sleep with that?
Well, they're planning on launching the coup anyways.
But
I'm happy with any Quarian lives die.
If we force their hand, if we make them feel they have to accelerate, and then a lot of people die, and he looks at Ray, are you going to be okay knowing that you were part of that happening?
Ray will actually just shake her head, no, but it's going to happen either way, and I'm at least trying to save who I can.
If we do nothing, a civil war is going to break out, and more will die.
If we do something, we might be able to control it and save it more people than would have been possible before.
In my perfect world, no one would die. You know that, but...
Alright. Well... I can get you in front of a lot of Quarians. Just about everyone I'm in charge of, actually. I can put you on the air, get you on screens. If you want to make some dramatic and heartfelt case for this, that's the best way for us to do it, most likely. I'll be there with you, of course.
If I might, Ray, if you don't feel comfortable talking, that disguise goes two ways. Aryn could possibly be you.
And Ray will look over at Aryn. What you do is that Ray will shake her head. No, it should be me. It should be a Quarian.
Either way, we'll be there to support you.
Admiral Zen.
I mean, I'll be there no matter what, says Zen. But someone's going to have to join me and, try to make the case. Believe it or not, I'm not exactly the most charismatic guy. more action oriented. Don't really tell people what to think.
Ray literally is like licking her lips and her mouth is super dry at the thought of speaking in front of a crowd. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Uncle.
I mean, it's just going to be like a quarter of the Quarian population.
What's a couple 100,000? I don't know how many. How much is the Quarian population right now overall, land and?
He said it had doubled since the end of the Reaper War, so somewhere in the ballpark of 34 million.
That's
Yeah, so
not a
it's-
lot at all.
Yeah, so it's just like 8 million Quarians, give or take.
Yeah, nothing you can't handle.
Ray starts doing the hand slide thing that she does whenever she's nervous.
I know it'll mean more coming from a Quarian, but are you sure you're up for this?
Anyone would be able to
Okay,
capture
Ryan.
your sentiment, honestly, too.
I could, but it wouldn't mean as much to the people. Meaning, the DC for me will probably be higher than it would be for Ray.
Yeah, unless you pretended to be Ray.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if Aryn was able to disguise as Ray, and like, I don't know, Ray
Okay.
could tell Aryn what to say, but it'd be Aryn saying it in a more convincing way.
Could you two just help me come up with what I should say?
Sure.
Yeah, I would let them help you. You'd have advantage then.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Ray can't inspire herself.
We also got Biotic present, so we can give you some
Yeah.
boost of confidence there.
So you could have
Yeah.
advantage and a D4. Yeah.
I assume
think I'd be
you
able to use a
wouldn't let
contingency on it.
contingency.
Because it's not like I can, like, if like Ray like stumbles on a word, like I don't, might not look good if Aryn was like leaning over and whispering in her ear to correct her or something. That would,
Oh no, it definitely wouldn't.
yeah. So I don't think I'd be able to use any contingencies or planning dice on it.
No.
You need a best whisper
Koro'Xen says, here's the
or
thing.
message.
We're only really going to have one good shot at this. Once the idea is out there, however we delivered it, that's going to frame this whole issue moving forward. I don't have a lot of experience with political campaigning. Haven't needed to. I don't suppose, worldly as you all are, you happen to know a particularly talented media director or someone who might actually help make this a good production.
Oh, I was really hoping it wouldn't come to that.
Oh god. Well, we needed to go there anyways. We needed to go there anyways.
We've got
Really?
we know Ristern.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Alright,
needed to
well.
bring back Adam, didn't we?
I've got plenty of discretionary
Oh, yeah, we did.
funds
You're right.
to I got plenty of discretionary funds to put toward hiring someone if you know somebody good at this stuff.
We would need to be able to send a quantum communication to
The Tellurian homeworld.
yeah. Which I'm already, for some reason, I'm blanking on their name.
There's a whole lot going on. I am too.
Surcash.
I'm blanking on everything.
The good news is that your quantum communicator allows you to communicate with the Galactic Readiness Task Force, and the Solarians join that. So any civilization that joined the Readiness Task Force, you have quantum communication with them.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could actually, it would technically, you'd be calling their queen and then asking if you can borrow her media director.
Oh
but
god,
yeah.
that, like, normally it would be the other way around. We call the like somebody
After
smaller
first-
and ask to speak to the higher ups, but no.
Yeah.
Speak to
Hey,
the higher
can we
ups.
No,
Like, yeah,
borrow
we're-
Ristern for a TV thing?
like, Your Highness, could we speak to your receptionist, please?
Not before first bothering the Primarch for the third time in a row for their phone number.
No, we got the phone number
You
of
know
anybody
what?
in the Readiness
Look.
Task Force.
Yeah, so you
Oh,
actually
every other-
do. As,
Well, I was
one-
gonna. Never mind. Sorry.
No, you're right. But once they join the task force, you get their quantum communication. So,
Yeah.
That'll save us a lot of phone tag.
yeah,
So I can call Matriarch Lazari and be like, "What's up?"
you could call Matriarch Lazari. Yeah.
Oh, I missed
Haven't
her.
you already done
I
that?
should give her a call.
Well, I'm thinking we
one
should
thing
reach
to
out
note.
Western.
it's getting late. You guys have had a long day. It's time for you. Like, you're all getting tired. You can feel it.
Yeah.
That you've been awake for like a long time. And the thing is, when you wake up the next morning, the time the council gave you will have run out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something.
All right, who's slamming an energy drink so we can pull an all-nighter?
You don't have time to put this together overnight.
The other thing we can do is we could make a quick jump over to Surkesh to speak with Ristern in person and drop off Adam.
Yeah.
And then come back.
And then come back with Ristern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like trade Adam for Ristern and then come back.
But what are we gonna do about the council?
We'll deal with that another time, but if they send somebody after us, they wouldn't be looking to take a Spectre out of commission. They'd only be looking to deal with the Reaper Tech and then let us go about our business. Because we still are in charge of a very important mission.
They said you had 1 week to give them the Reaper Tech, or they'd send someone to collect it. So it's not going to be like an assassin.
I got you.
Yeah, it's just going to be someone who's like,
Yeah.
I'm here for the tech, you have to give it to me now.
Because I did review the footage, we never leaked to the council that it's an AI.
Yeah,
I got you.
so it's just going to be someone representing the council that's like, okay, you have to hand it over. So,
Oh man, we should have asked we need some Reaper Tech.
you do actually need some Reaper Tech to give them. Yeah.
Hey, we have the Quarians. Nobody knows
Give
Reaper
it-
Tech like they do.
Adam, give me your arm.
I worry that, oh god, if they come in here and they find Kaidan, his synthetic stuff is probably closely related to Reaper Tech.
We should give them Kaidan, you're
Oh
right.
fuck, no.
Kaidan or Adam, which one?
No, remember,
you have to
Kaidan-
sacrifice one.
We already mentioned Kaidan only shows up on scans and stuff as a person with prosthetics.
Yeah.
So, I would actually argue he would not detect as anything like Reaper Tech because the synthesis ending, it merges all organic and synthetic life into like a new thing. So if anything, they just would have no idea what the fuck he is. It would just be totally unrecognizable what the tech is.
Because Edie even got like in the
and
cutscene, Edie was
Kaidan
transferred
could
to.
just be like classified Alliance prosthetics, move along.
Yeah.
Because he would detect as a human with prosthesis. So
But yeah, I think that would be the move, is to head to Surkesh so we can get Adam somewhere safely. Probably, and then pick up Ristern and bring.
all right.
Wait.
We have our plan for next session.
Kaidan's biotic.
Random
How do his
question.
biotics look?
Just like a person with prosthetics.
No, like his abilities, his biotic abilities.
Oh, they're still
Telekinetic.
just fine.
Normal.
Yeah, telekinetic. Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't
I
like
think
proteins with their green.
No, he's still able to do. He's still able to do biotics. Yeah.
Okay.
So, random question, Zan. Has the show started to be broadcast, or are we still waiting for the new
It
season?
is.
No.
It has begun. You have the first episode, which mainly introduces the teams. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, our show.
Yep.
We can
Oh,
show
boy.
Yuji the
Oh no, we have to
Well,
show the new
family
guy.
sit
That's
down.
embarrassing.
family sit down to watch our video on Premiere.
Mark.
All right. Well, everybody, I'm gonna head out. I hope you guys had fun.
Mm-hmm.
I always do.
Alrighty, and then next session you'll be going to trade Adam for Ristern. What an upgrade!
Mm-hmm.